Okay, everyone, welcome to a new IELTS writing lesson. Today's lesson is going to be about question types. So I'm going to explain the importance of learning the different question types. I'm also going to help you to identify them and to know about, to learn about the requirements of each of the types, and also give you maybe some suggested ways of dealing with them. As I'm going along, hopefully I will also take a look at some of the common mistakes that are made with question types. Okay, so one of the important points is that these question types are repeated again and again. The questions I'm going to show you today are probably from between like 2000 and I think it's like 2006 to maybe 2018. So during this period of time, so we're talking like 10 years, these questions have been used again and again and again. Okay, so of course, learning the different question types and about them is important. Each of the question types, they have different requirements and ways of dealing with them. So if you know the different question types and the requirements of them, of course, it will make a big difference in your mark. It could make the difference between a band 6 and a band 7. You'll be surprised that many students that I teach have been studying IELTS for years, but don't have an idea what the specific requirements of questions are. Now, it is very important when you're practicing writing that you practice using authentic questions. Now, the reason for using authentic questions is that you might be using questions, wording that you will not see in the real exam. So there's no point spending so much time practicing questions that you will never see in a real exam. Now, some of the questions are too easy for IELTS, and some of the questions are too difficult. So what will end up happening is you might get the wrong idea about the exam. You might think that the exam is really easy, and then in the real exam you find that it's difficult. And the opposite is true. Sometimes you think, you know, the exam is really, really difficult, and then you get to the exam and it's a lot easier. So it's good to have, you know, a real the correct opinion, the correct idea of what the exam is like. Also, when you write an answer to a question that's not authentic and it's too easy, or the question is too difficult, and you send it to a teacher to correct, what will happen is the teacher will not have an accurate way of giving you a grade. So if you've answered a question, it's too easy, you might get a mark that you don't deserve. Or if you write a question and an answer to a question, and the question is really, really difficult, and you don't know how to answer it, and you get a grade below, and the teacher grades you, they might grade you incorrectly as well. So a way of knowing a good teacher is, do they use authentic questions or not? Do they use reliable questions or not? Okay, so if you want to ask somebody about their service, make sure you ask them the question, what questions do you use? Do you use authentic questions or not? Okay, if the questions are not authentic, ask them about how reliable the questions are. Now, the questions here, most of the, if you use the IELTS books 1 to 15, of course, these are all authentic questions, and you won't have a problem. You won't have a problem with these. Some of the other publishers, I found that the questions could be a lot too easy, could be too difficult sometimes, and also they use wordings and they use questions that don't come in the real exam. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer to get a question in the exam that you are very familiar with, or would you like to see a question in the exam that you haven't seen before? Okay, I'm sure we'd all agree that we'd love to see a question, a type of a question that we've dealt with so many times beforehand. Okay, a lot of my clients will know and will tell you that I just do not bother. I do not answer. I do not correct any question that's not authentic. Okay, so of course, there's not just one way. Okay, so you could answer the question in different ways. Okay, some ways are better than others. Some ways of answering the question might get you a band 7, might get you a band 8, might get you a band 9, and others might limit you to a band 6. Okay, so there are many different ways, and there's no correct way or incorrect way. It really depends on the band mark that you want. And yeah, and even for band 7, there are different approaches. There's not just one approach. So sometimes a student will give them a suggested approach, and they might see another approach by, publisher, famous publisher, and they get upset. So yes, there's not just one way. There could be more than one way of answering a question. So some of you might ask, what's the difference between the academic test and the general test? Okay, so the academic test seems to focus a little bit more on academic subjects and topics. Okay, so sometimes the wording is a little bit more complicated, as well. Okay. There are a few questions that have a different wording in academic and in general. Also, there is one question that only comes in academic and it doesn't come in general, and there's one question that comes in general and doesn't come in academic as well. Okay, hopefully we'll take a look at these one by one and you will become familiar with them, hopefully. Okay, so takeaway points: be familiar with the frequently used questions, learn the requirements of each one, only use authentic questions, and learn effective ways of dealing with each question type. You could learn more than one. Okay, so first of all, we want to be able to identify the different types of questions. Okay, so in this lesson, I'm going to show you the wording that's been used from the authentic questions from the Cambridge examination from year 2007. I said 2006 earlier, 2007 to 2018. So this should give you an idea of the wording of the questions that have been used all the way from 2007 to 2018. Okay. So types of questions. We have opinion questions, discussion and opinion questions. We have situation questions. We have two-part questions. We have outweigh questions, and these are for academic only. And we have advantages and disadvantages, which are for the general test only. Okay, opinion questions. So with these questions, you will get a statement, okay? And this could be, this is usually an opinion. And then you ask, to what extent do you agree or disagree for academic? To what extent do you think? And then they'll give you an idea to agree or disagree with. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? So it's more or less the same thing here. What, in your opinion, and then they're going to give you the question. Do you think this is a positive or a negative development? Okay, so these are all questions that come in the academic test, asking you about your opinion. If you notice, a lot of them seem to be agree or disagree. Or, yeah, agree or, positive or negative. Yeah. So they seem to be giving you like two opinions or two, like to agree or disagree with something or and so on. Here you have the general test. Do you agree or disagree? So this is a lot simpler. So the format of the question is a lot simpler. Do you agree or disagree? Is simpler than to what extent do you agree or disagree? So let's take a look at a reported opinion question. Food travels thousands of miles from producers to consumers. Okay, so this is given to you as a fact. So when we're asked about the opinion here, we're not going to be asked if we agree or disagree with this fact. This is just being given as a fact. But then we have an opinion. Okay, there would be no point agreeing or disagreeing with it if it's given to us. If it's given to us as a fact. Okay, so there'd be no point really writing an essay if we already take it as a fact. So we're not really responding to the fact. We're responding to the opinion. So some people think that it would be better for the environment and economy if people only ate the local food produced by farmers. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So this is a question from 2018. Of course, as we said, to what extent should give you the idea that it's, can you write in the chat? General or academic? Who can remember? GT or AT? Okay, yeah, definitely. So it's definitely an academic question. AT, yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at another question. So we have, in some countries, it is now illegal to reject someone applying for a job because of his or her age. Okay. Yes, some of you are still writing the answer. Yes, to what extent is an AT question? It's not a GT one. Okay. In some countries, it's now illegal to reject someone applying for a job because of his or her age. Okay. Now, this statement here is given to us as a fact. Because the question says, do you think this is positive or negative? Okay, so is this a positive or negative development? This is what the question is asking us. This is a fact. A lot of students, what they will do is they will say something like, it is believed by some that blah, 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 and I think it is a positive development or a negative development. No, this is a fact. And our opinion, the opinion in the question is if you think it's positive or you think it's negative. Of course, for a question like this, there's no correct or incorrect answer. All you have to do is present your opinion, okay, on whether you think it's positive or you think it's negative, and give reasons why. Okay, food travels thousands of miles from producers to consumers. Some people think that it would be better for environment and economy if people ate the food, ate the local food produced by farmers. To what extent? Okay, so here we have a fact and we have an opinion. I think I repeated this one. Okay, now we have a discussion and opinion essay question. Now the wording is the same for both. It's discuss both these views and give your own opinion. Okay, so the wording is the same. You are given two opinions and then you are asked this question here. So the academic and general are the same. Sometimes the topic, is a little bit more academic for the academic version. Take a look at some of these. Some people think that the main factors influencing a child's development these days are things such as television, friends, and music. So this is one opinion. Others believe that family still remains more important. So these are two opposite opinions. And here we have discussed both views. So you're asked to present both of the views and give your own opinion. Some people spend a lot of money for their wedding ceremonies. However, others feel like this is unnecessary, that it is unnecessary to spend so much. So we want to present both of the sides, the side of the people who spend a lot of money and the side of the people who believe that it's not really that important. We shouldn't be spending that much on weddings, and also present our own opinion at the same time. Actors make more money than people in other significant professions. Some people think this is acceptable, while others believe that this is unjust. Okay, so we have the two opinions. It's acceptable and it's unjust. Here, this is given to us as a fact. Actors make more money than people in other significant professions. This is like one of the authentic questions in the IELTS examination. Discuss both these views. So discuss both these views. So these are the two views here. Then we have situation questions. So situation questions, what they do is they present a problem. They give us any problem. It could be an economic problem, an environmental problem, health problem in education, unemployment, whatever it is, it's going to be something bad. Okay, and then you are asked different questions. So you might be asked, why is this the case? What can be done about this problem? Yeah. What are the causes of these problems? What measures could be taken here, not an S. So these are the wordings that came from the Cambridge examination books. And here we have general. What do you think are the main causes? How can we deal with those causes? Why? And then they will state the problem. What can be done about it? So the two questions that you're going to get, question number one is going to be about the reasons for this problem, the causes for this problem. And question number two is going to be about solutions for it. So here we have, many people are involved in sports when they are young, but stop once they are adults. So this is kind of, problematic because people are athletic and so on, and then they stop exercising. So here we have a question asking for the reasons. Why do adults stop physical exercise? What can be done about this problem? Okay, so causes, reasons, and solutions. Many people around the world are becoming malnourished, even though they are eating 3 meals. So they're eating 3 meals, but still they're having problems, yeah? So why is this the case? So why are people becoming malnourished? What can be done? What's the solution? What solutions do we have? And then we have a 2-part essay question. So 2-part essay questions will just give you a statement, and then they will ask you 2 random questions about it. It is the same for both types. So the style of the question is exactly the same. 2-part question. Shopping is now a popular pastime for many young people. What are the reasons for this? So why is shopping popular? And then we have an opinion question here, yeah? Should people be encouraged to do more useful activities in their spare time? So is this a good idea? Yeah, is this a good idea that people do more useful activities? So these are 2 random questions. One of them is asking for causes, and the second one is asking an opinion question. So you have a combination of questions there. In some societies, more and more people choose to live on their own. What are the reasons for people? What are the reasons people choose to do this? Is it a positive or negative trend? So here again, we kind of have, like causes here, and we have like an opinion kind of a question going on here. So that's a mix as well. Second one, another one. Improving the education system is the best way to combat crime. To what extent do you agree with this statement? So this is like an opinion question, but then the second question is, what else could be done to reduce crime? So this is asking for solutions. So it's like opinion, solution. So this is a combination of 2 questions. This is what we call a 2-part question. And sometimes this is referred to as a direct question or direct questions. Another one. Nowadays, more and more people are using the internet. Why is this? So what's the reason? Is it positive or is it negative? Okay, so this is the combination of 2 things, causes and opinion, which seems to be very, very common. Very, very common. And then we have outweigh. Outweigh is for academic only and not for GT, the general exam. Okay, so here we're given a fact. This is a situation that we're given, and we're asked questions. Do the advantages of this situation that we are presented with outweigh the disadvantages? Do the disadvantages of blah de blah de blah outweigh the disadvantages? Let's take a couple look at a couple. It's common these days to see famous sports persons advertising sports products. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? Many people use social media on a regular basis in order to keep in touch with the news and with other people. Do you think that the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages? So here we have advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so you'll just be given a situation here, and asked if the advantage, asked about the advantages and disadvantages. What are the benefits and disadvantages? Or you might be asked, are the advantages more than? So we're not outweigh, it's just more than. Are they more or are they less? Example, nowadays cars have more and more gadgets. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this trend? So this, of course, is a very simple question, and this is a general, a GT question. This is something that will only come in GT exams. I don't think it's as common these days. I don't think it's been repeated that much lately. But then again, they can choose whatever question they throw at us. So you just have to be prepared, really. Students have more options regarding how to study in the past. What are the benefits and disadvantages of this for students nowadays? Okay, so shall we take a quick look, and let's just take a quick recap. So we have opinion questions. To what extent do you agree or disagree? What in your opinion? And then we complete the sentence. Do you think this is a positive or negative development? Do you agree or disagree? What is your opinion about this? So this is an opinion question. Then we have discussion. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. And then we have situation. So situation essay questions. Give us the problem and then ask us about causes and solutions. And then we have two-part questions. We're given a fact or a statement, and then we are asked two random questions. They could be any questions about them. Then we have outweigh, whether advantages outweigh disadvantages and so on. And then we have two-part questions. Two-part questions, we're given a statement and two random questions. And the last one we have is advantages and disadvantages. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Okay, so now let's see if we can remember. So if you can get your keyboards ready, and see if we can remember the type of question. So read the question and type the name of the question in the chat. Sorry. Having a little bit of a problem today with the controls. I'm not sure why the chat is not coming up. Okay, so do you want to type your answers in the chat? Okay, situation, causes and solutions. Okay, so yeah, some people call it a situation question and some people call it problem solution. So they call it problem solution. Okay, so either situation or problem solution would be a good answer. Okay, let's take a look at the second one, the next one. Okay, I have two answers. Do I have any more answers? Okay, yeah. Some of you are putting advantages and disadvantages, which is true, but this one is focused on outweigh. Which one? Yeah, which one outweighs the other? Okay, so I like to call this an outweigh question. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Okay, so sentence. Any more answers? Okay, so this one is called a discussion and opinion essay question. Okay, so this is called a discussion and opinion essay, and it's the same for both GT and AT. Okay, so this is the same type of question you'll get in both of the exams. Take a look at the next one. So what type of a question is this? Okay, yeah, this is an easy one. This is an opinion essay question. Can you remember if it is for academic or if it's for GT? Okay, academic. Okay, Lemia asked the question. She said, "I thought advantages and disadvantages are for GT only." Yeah. So we have what are the advantages and disadvantages of? Okay, so this is a GT question, but for academic we have do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So the phrase outweigh is only for academic and it's not for GT. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's move on. So let's take a look at this one. Let's see how many questions we got. How many answers, sorry, we got. Okay. So we put in two questions essay, so it's two-part question. So we put in double question. Yeah, it is more or less that. And some of you put direct questions. So yeah, so basically it's a two-part question or direct question where you're given two random questions about a topic. Good. And what about this one? Okay. Okay, yeah. A lot of people like to refer to this question as a problem solution essay, and that's fine. And some people like to call it a situation essay. Good, good, good. So that's a, either situation or problem solution. These are the common names that are used for this type of question. Okay, and this one here. What type of question is it? Okay, so here I'm getting different answers. Some are saying it's an opinion, and some are saying it's cause effect. I've never heard of this question before. And some of you are saying it's a two-part question. So here what we have is we have a situation here. Nowadays, the way many people interact with each other has changed because of technology. So here we're given a fact and we're asked two questions about it. So we asked two different questions about it. Yeah. So in what ways has technology affected different types of relationships? So this is an opinion question. And the second one, has this become a positive or negative development? This is also an opinion question. So this, when we have two questions, it's called a two-part question, or we call it direct questions. Okay. Now, the difference between a two-part question and a situation question is that with situation questions, we're given a problem and we asked for causes and solutions. Okay, but this is not a problem. It's just giving us, a truth, a fact, and it's asking us two opinion questions about it. So this is not a situation question. It's what we call a two-part question or direct questions. Okay, let's take a look at another. Okay, yeah. So we can call it yes. The answer is the correct, situation or problem solution. Yeah. Okay. So this is what this question is usually referred to. Good. So let's take a look at the requirements of the different types of questions. So an opinion question, what do we need to do for an opinion question? So when we ask to what extent do you agree or disagree? Is this positive or negative? Do you agree or disagree? What do we have to do? So we have to present a clear opinion. Okay. So we think it's positive, we think it's negative, you know, we agree with the statement, we disagree with it. So this needs to be very clear. Okay. We should also be able to understand, you know, to what extent you agree or disagree from the language that you are using in the essay. Give reasons for your opinion. Okay, so if you say that you believe that smoking should be banned in public places, you need to give reasons. So let me give you, for example, one reason. One reason, it's bad for people's health. Yeah, so smoking in public places is bad for people's health, right? So this is a reason, right? But it's not just good enough to give, you know, reasons, to give two reasons. We need to also support the reasons. So if we say it's bad for people's health, we need to prove it. You know, how is it bad for people's health? Okay, and then we could possibly explain how, you know, it could cause, you know, diseases such as lung cancer and so on and so on. Okay, so it's not just good enough to say it's bad for your health and that's it. We need to give our reasons, and in, you know, give one reason in each of the two body paragraphs, and we need to, you know, support these reasons with supporting ideas. Also, we need to give examples to clarify our supporting ideas. So let's take a look at the question here. Today, high sales of popular consumer goods reflect the power of advertising and not the real needs of society in which they are sold. Okay, so here we have to what extent. We should really make it clear, you know, if we agree or disagree, you know, and to what extent. And then we have our opinion, whether we agree or disagree. Here we have give reasons. So we need reasons, main ideas. So we said they're bad for people's health. Maybe another reason is some people have allergic reactions to them, maybe. Or maybe some people do not like the smell of smoke. Yeah. Then we need to give examples. So we need to give examples of the things that we are presenting. Okay. Requirements of discussion and opinion essays. So when they tell us discuss both views and give your opinions, we need to clearly present the opinions that are given to us in the question, and we need to give reasons. So what reasons the people who have these opinions, what reasons do they give? Okay, we need to support these reasons, okay, with ideas, and then also give examples. Okay, so you have the three opinions to present, the two opinions in the question and your own. We need to give reasons for these and support these reasons with ideas and examples. Okay, so here we have a question, discuss both these views. So this is one point, and give your own opinion. This is, you know, well, these are 2 points, and this is a third point. Then we have give reasons for your answer. Okay, so we need to give reasons for all of the three opinions and also give examples. Then we have situation essays. Situation essays are essays that give us a problem and ask us for causes and solutions. Okay, it is very important that we give more than one cause and more than one solution. So it's best to give two causes and two solutions. Okay. We can't just say that this is a cause. We need to say that this is a cause, and we need to prove it. We need to explain why we believe that this is a cause for a problem. Okay. So we need to give reasons, support, and examples for these problems and solutions. Okay. Two-part questions. So two-part questions, of course, we need to respond to both of the questions. Okay, so this is very, very important. that we answer both of the questions that are given to us and that we give reasons for our opinions, for our answers, and also give examples for them as well. Now, we need to be careful because sometimes one question might ask for more than one cause or more than one solution, advantage, disadvantage. So focus very, very carefully on the question and what it says. Okay, so you might have two questions and both of the questions might ask for more than 1 point. Then we have outweigh. Now, outweigh questions, they say do the advantages. So we have more than one. Outweigh the disadvantages. So we need to present advantages more than one and disadvantages also more than one. But also we need to present our opinion, which is more significant. So when we say significant, we're not really talking about the number of advantages or the number of disadvantages. We're talking about how important, how significant these advantages or disadvantages are. Now, sometimes something might have hundreds of disadvantages, but it only has maybe 2 advantages. But still, the 2 advantages are way more significant than the disadvantages. So I'll give you an example, not a nice one. Chemotherapy. We know that the side effects of chemotherapy are probably hundreds or thousands. But the one advantage that somebody might live outweighs all of these. Okay, so we're not talking about number here, we're talking about significance. So, but what is more important for us is that we present 2 disadvantages and we present 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. And we present our opinion on which is more significant. Okay, advantages and disadvantages for GT. We just want to present 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages, but also we need to develop our writing by giving reasons why there are advantages, reasons why there are disadvantages, and also making sure that we have our supporting ideas and examples. So here we have what are the benefits. So this is the plural and disadvantages also in the plural. Okay, so let's take a look at structures for different question types. So first of all, we have opinion essay questions. So in the introduction, we're going to rephrase the question. Okay, so we're going to rephrase the sentence, the statement that is given to us. Okay. Plus give our opinion, whether we agree or whether we disagree, or whether we think it is a positive development or whether we think it is a negative development. Whatever it is, whatever our opinion is, we can present it. Okay. Sometimes we can introduce our main reasons. Okay. So our main reasons, we might say, in my opinion, smoking in public should be banned. And then you could say because it's bad for people's health, and some people do not like the smell of it, right? So these are the main reasons, but we don't want to go into detail because introductions are just for introducing only. Okay, so if we want to introduce the main ideas, we can, but we need to make sure that we never go into details. Body paragraph number 1, we're going to present the first reason why we agree or why we disagree. We're going to explain it, give reasons why it is valid. So why is it valid? Why is it bad for people's health, for example? Okay, so we can't just present it without supporting it. We need to give it some support. Okay, and also we need to give examples from our own life. Body paragraph number 2 is going to be the same. We're going to present another reason why we agree or why we disagree, explain it, support it, and provide examples. Now, it is possible that you have a partial agreement. So you partially agree and you partially disagree. So that's okay. So you could present one reason why you agree and one reason why you partially disagree. Okay. So you choose your answer, whether you totally agree, fully agree, whether you fully disagree, and you present your two main reasons, one in a separate body paragraph. Each reason in a separate body paragraph. In the conclusion, all we want to do is rephrase the statement in the introduction and summarize the main points. Discussion essay questions. Okay. For this question type, there are many different ways of doing it. Maybe you could have 3 body paragraphs, one for one opinion, one for the second opinion, and one for your own opinion. The only problem with that approach is sometimes it takes a little bit more time. Okay, so it is a bit time consuming, and many students don't have the time to write 300, 400 words, and that's usually the range for a 3 body paragraph essay. Okay, or you could write one opinion in one body paragraph and your opinion about it. So you state your idea, whether you agree or disagree with it, or to what extent you agree with or disagree with that point, and then you present the second point, and also at the end you add your opinion, whether you agree or disagree with it. Okay, this is another approach, another way of doing it, which is good. Now, the third approach, which I suggest and I recommend, is that you fully agree with one of the sides. So you totally agree with one of the sides. So you can rephrase the question by presenting both of the opinions, and then you can present your opinion that you totally agree with one of the sides. Now, what I recommend is that you start with the side that you disagree with. Okay, so this is important. You start with the side that you disagree with, and you don't start with the side that you agree with. Okay, so in any argument, when we have an argument, we like to have the last word. Okay, the person who has the last word is usually the person who wins the argument. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to present the side that we disagree with first. Okay, and we don't want to make the argument very strong. Okay, so we want to make the opposing argument a little bit weaker than our own. And then, after we have presented the opposing argument, we could give a reason at the end why we think it's weak. So we could comment on it by stating that maybe, however, in my point of view, I don't think there's enough evidence to support this opinion, or something like that. So whatever you can do, try to find any weakness in the argument and highlight it, in my opinion, and then give a reason why this opinion, this opposing opinion, isn't very valid. Okay. Then in the second body paragraph, you can present your own opinion. This is the opinion that you agree with. Okay. And you can put, others including myself. So others including myself. This way, one body paragraph is doing two things. It's presenting the other opinion, and also at the same time, it's presenting your own. Okay. So for example, others including myself hold the view that, and then you're going to give your supporting sentences and examples. The conclusion, as usual, is just a summary of the main ideas within the essay. Two-part question. So two-part question, you're going to rephrase the question given to you and the statement given to you in the question and give a very, very brief answer. So we don't want to go into details here. We don't want to go into details here. What we want to do is we want to just give a very simple answer, okay? Because introductions do not give details. All they do is they give you know, the main ideas. Then in the first body paragraph, we're going to present the main idea, the main answer, and then we're going to explain it, give supporting ideas and examples. Okay. In body paragraph number 2, we will do the same thing for the second answer. Now, what's important is that each body paragraph always has one central idea. So we don't want to mix a number of ideas into one body paragraph. That's not going to be, you know, what we call coherent, okay, easy to understand. So we separate our ideas. So we're going to present one answer to one question with an explanation, supporting sentences and examples, an example or examples, and we're going to do the same for the second question. Okay, now we have situation essay questions. Okay, situation essay questions, we're going to rephrase the question, and what we could do is we could give an introduction of the main cause and the main solution. Okay, or what we could do is we could, for example, rephrase the question, which is the problem. So we could say people's, you know, people are becoming more and more overweight, for example. And then what we could do is say, in this essay, I'm going to present some of the possible causes and solutions for this problem. Okay. Sometimes for many students, they find this a lot easier to do because they don't want to, sorry, what do I have? Cause. Okay. It's going to be solution. So because they don't want to write the main cause and the main solution and then repeat them in the body paragraphs. So this might become a little bit more too repetitive. Okay, so some people, they will rephrase the question by stating what the problem is, and then in the introduction they just state, in this essay I'm going to take a look at some of the possible causes for this and some of the solutions. And then in the body paragraphs, they could present them cause, so present the causes. And in the second body paragraph, they could present the solutions. Okay. This is one way. Now, when we say supporting sentences and examples, what do we mean by this? So if I state that a cause for people being overweight is that they are inactive, right? So this is a good reason why people are overweight. They are inactive. But it's not just enough to say they are inactive. You know, it's not just enough. We always have to give reasons why our ideas are relevant, why our ideas are true. So what do you think, for example, that we could put to support the idea that being inactive is a reason why people are overweight? What ideas could you put? Write in the chat what you think could support this support this cause. So if I say one reason why people are overweight is that they are inactive. So why is that a valid cause? Okay, some people saying sedentary lifestyle. Yes, but what's the relationship? So I could put people use computers, but how would we relate that to people being overweight? I might say um, people smoke cigarettes, and someone might say, well, what's the relationship between smoking cigarettes and being overweight? So whenever we give an idea, it's not enough. So we have to also state why our opinion is relevant. Okay, so people maybe don't have time to exercise. So this is maybe why they're overweight. Okay, poor diet and so on. Okay, so all these are reasons why people are overweight. But the point that you're not getting is, you're giving me main ideas. So there's a difference between main ideas and supporting ideas. Okay, so let's say, for example, people are inactive, right? Let's say this is the main idea, and I want to support it. So why is this idea true? What's the relationship between people being inactive and people becoming overweight? I need to, you know, I need to make a relationship between these 2 points. People are inactive and people are overweight. Now, for example, what I could say is, okay, what I could say is something that activity, helps to burn calories, okay, which, if are not used up, are stored in the body as body fat. So here I've created a connection between the two. So activity, it burns calories, okay? And these calories, if they're not burnt, they're stored in the body as body fat. So here I've created a connection between the two ideas. So it's not enough just saying that this is, people are inactive. Okay, so people are inactive, what's the relationship? Now you might say to me, let's say for example, people eat fast food. Okay, so now what I need to know is, why is fast food contributing to people being fat? Why is that true? I can't just accept the idea without having support. So you need to support it. So what could the relationship be between, for example, fast food and people becoming overweight? What could the relationship be? Can you think of any ideas? We have World here, 6:30. Uh-huh. Okay, so we're starting to get some ideas. Saliha, anything? Mona, Adaya, Lamia. Okay, so Medaya put contain a high amount of fat and carbohydrates. So we still have a problem here. We still have a problem. So how are carbohydrates and fat related to being overweight? Yeah, so we need to tie this, we need to make it a tie, a direct tie between the two. So we could say, for example, that fast food is high in calories. Yeah, so fast food is very, very high in calories. And if these calories are not burnt, they're stored in the body as body fat. So here we've made a connection between the two ideas. So a lot of students, when I say to them, give a cause and support the cause, they don't understand exactly what I'm asking them to do. So what we mean is when we have a reason, we have to prove why this reason is causing this problem. And when we offer a solution, we need to also state why this solution is actually a solution, how it will solve the problem. Okay, so in terms of structure, we could put cause, solution, solution. So the main idea here is that we're talking about causes for the problem. And here the main idea, the central idea, is that we're talking about solutions. Okay, now, there is a better way of dealing with this, and I think it is tying the cause with the solution. So we could say, one of the main causes of blah, 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 blah is, and then we present it, support it, and so on. And directly after, we offer a solution for it. We automatically offer a solution for the cause of the problem. And then the second body paragraph, we can say another principal cause for this blah, blah problem is, we present it, we support it, we give reasons why it's a cause and examples, and we also automatically give a solution for it. So I like this approach a lot better than the first approach. Okay. One of the reasons why is that some students, they'll write one cause and they'll write a second cause, and then they'll write solutions that are not related to the causes. So this makes it really strange. So I have causes for a problem, and I have solutions that are not related whatsoever. So it's better to have a cause and then automatically follow it up with the solution for this cause. That way, the essay is a lot more coherent and easy to understand. Okay, as usual, we're going to have a conclusion, sum up the main ideas within the conclusion. Okay, outweigh questions. We rephrase the statement, which is a fact, and then we add our opinion, whether the advantages outweigh the disadvantages or not. So we could say, in my opinion, the advantages of teaching a foreign language in primary school outweigh, its disadvantages. Okay, so we make our opinion on which is more very, very clear. Okay. Then in the first body paragraph, we start off with the less significant side. So when we say the less significant side, we mean the side that we think doesn't outweigh the other. Okay, so present the side that you think is less significant and explain why there are advantages or disadvantages, give examples. But what we want to do at the end of the body paragraph is state why we think these advantages are not important, or why we think these disadvantages are not very important. Okay. Then when we move to the second body paragraph, you're going to present the side that you think is more significant. So this could be the advantages, or it could be the disadvantages. Okay, and make sure that you give some very, very strong reasons why these advantages or disadvantages are very, very significant. Okay, and then we finish off with just a summary of the main points. Advantages and disadvantages. Basically, we're just going to rephrase the question for this is for general, and state what the main advantage and main disadvantage is. It's not always good if they say what are the advantages and disadvantages. We don't want to go into too much detail, okay? Because introductions, we want to keep them as brief as possible. So you could say, in my opinion, the main advantage of blah, 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 blah is, and the principal disadvantage is blah, 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 blah. Then we want to present the advantages in one body paragraph and the disadvantages in the second body paragraph. Also remember, when we're presenting advantages, we need to give reasons why they are advantages. The same as what we said when we have situation essays. Okay, so they're eating fast food. So what does that mean? So why is that significant? Why is that a cause? Yeah. So if we say something is a disadvantage, we need to say why it's a disadvantage. So we could say the price is very, very high. And then we could explain how maybe students, they need the money for other things. Yeah. So we could say, for example, we could be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of taking a specific course. And we could say the principal advantage, disadvantage of this is that it's very, very expensive. So then we move on to explain, well, how's that related? Why is that a disadvantage? And then we could talk about students, how they don't have money and how they have a difficult life. And sometimes they have to rent houses and they don't have anyone to support them financially, and how this will affect their life negatively. Yeah. So we need to support, give reasons why what we're presenting is really a disadvantage. And we do an advantage or a disadvantage. And we want to try and give examples as well. Okay, I'm going to open up any questions. Anyone want to write any questions before we bring this lesson to an end? Okay. Okay, no questions. Okay, people asking about last Friday's lesson. Yeah, I recorded it and actually uploaded the last lesson. So yes, everybody should have a copy of that. It's on the YouTube channel, Arts Writing Prep. I also uploaded it on the Facebook page, Arts Writing Prep. So it should also be there. Okay. Saliha's question, she said some of the questions asked to give examples from your own experience. Okay. So this is not asking for personal examples. So you say, for example, last week I went to a takeaway and I saw this, that, and the other. This is not the type of example we're asking for. We don't want to. We want to avoid personal examples as much as possible. Okay, so we want to talk in general about, you know, give a general example, or you could give, you know, an example about somebody who is famous and so on. So avoid giving answers like my brother and my father and my sister and my cousin and so on and so on. If you want to give an example about a person, you could say, for example, you know, a scientist or, you know, famous scientist called blah, 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 famous actor, you know, if you want to give an example about a person, it's better to avoid, you know, your own personal answers about your own, personal life. So this asking you about from your own knowledge. Okay, so that's what the question is asking. Uh, is it about things in the world that you know about? Yes. So it could be facts. Yeah. Let me just give you an example. So if you say, for example, that fast food, is one of the contributing factors, what would an example be of that? Do you know what I mean? So what would an example be? A good example of fast food would be pizzas. So fast foods such as pizzas, are high in calories, and then you could say one pizza can have anywhere up to 3,000 calories in it. So this is a good example, yeah? Any more questions before I bring this lesson to an end? And Saliha, if my answer wasn't clear, you can follow up. No? Okay. Okay, everyone. Thanks for that. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube to hit like. If you're not subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button. I'll see you all in a following lesson. God willing. Have a nice day.